Should you be following BMW's recommendations when it comes to oil changes on your car? What I have to say today may surprise a few of you. So right here I have my 2010 BMW E91 with the 2-litre N47 diesel engine, and it's covered now I think over 190,000 miles, either 192, 193,000 miles. It's still going strong, but we're about to do an oil change today. Now the engine is running. I just want it to get up to operating temperature. Whenever you do an oil change, it makes it a hell of a lot easier when the engine is nice and warm. Helps the engine oil flow better. Now that the engine has been running for 10 minutes or so, let's switch it off and let's begin the oil change. So then first things first, let's get the engine cover removed so we can gain access to the oil filter housing, and I'm going to go ahead and crack the oil filter loose. It takes a 27mm socket. Not going to remove it fully yet. I just want to give the oil a chance just to drain back down into the sump, and after it's drained for a minute or so, we'll get the oil filter removed. And this is what an oil filter should look like. If it's completely crushed, then it's definitely past its best. I'm just going to give it a quick inspection. Things look okay in here, can't see any huge chunks. We'll get this removed. Just drop this cap back in place, just to stop anything dropping back down in there. And now coming underneath the car, we'll crack the oil drain plug loose, which it should take a 17mm socket, and we'll try and get as much oil down our arm as possible, because I love getting covered in oil. There we are, bombs away. And we'll also just remove the oil filler cap, pull out the dipstick as well. This video is sponsored by Bevensea. Now, for those of you who haven't heard of Bevensea, they are a company that specialises in aftermarket lighting options for your car. Now, they have kindly supplied me with a couple of sets of their Z26 series bulbs. Now, these are a direct LED replacement for the halogen bulbs that I have in this 2010 BMW E91 318D. So I'm expecting a pretty significant upgrade on the halogen bulbs. LEDs generally are a lot brighter. So I think what we should do, we should get outside, get the old bulbs removed, get the new ones installed, and then see what the difference is. Okay, so first of all, let's get these new bulbs unboxed. So in the box itself, we have a user manual. So very nicely packaged, seem a decent quality, but of course, proof is in the pudding. Let's get them installed on the car first. Now, when it comes to gaining access to the rear of your headlights, one side will definitely be easier than the other. So one side, there shouldn't be anything in the way. You should have pretty good access to get the covers off the back of your headlight. And the other side, you probably have to remove the airbox in the way, unless you have the hands of a 5-year-old child. I have pretty big hands, so I need to get the airbox out of the way. But once you have the airbox out of the way, remove the cover that hides the main dipped bulb. Once you've located the H7 style halogen bulb, unhinge the securing clip, unplug the wiring harness and pull the bulb out. Insert the new bulb, secure it with the clip, and then insert the electrical connector. Then we can move on to the high beam bulb. That is located in a separate compartment, again just a plastic cover. Pry the tab up on the top, pull the cover off, and then again just a H7 style halogen bulb to remove and install the new LED replacement. And once that's done, get everything put back in place. Now we can test out the new bulbs. So now let's compare the old halogen bulbs to the new LED bulbs. On the left you can see the new LED bulb, on the right you can see the old halogen bulb. Now both new LED bulbs in full effect. Now let's take the new bulbs out for a drive and see what they're like on the road. So then the good thing about the Z26 bulbs is that they are the exact same size as the halogen bulb, so you need no special adapters, no special plug connectors. They just fit exactly the same as the standard bulbs. Another good thing about these bulbs is that they are 400% brighter than the standard halogen bulbs, but they are still very close to the light tangent standard. Now a good thing about Bevensey is, as a brand, they specialize in research and development. They have the longest warranty on the market that provides a 5 years after sales protection. Now if you still have the standard halogen headlight bulbs in your car, I think you would agree these Z26 bulbs are a massive upgrade. Now for those of you who want to check out Bevensey, there will be a link down in that description box below, along with a discount code where you can save yourself some money. I want to thank them for sponsoring the video as well. Now let's get back to it. Now then, while the engine oil is draining, I'll just give it 10 minutes or so. Let's talk a little bit about when I last changed the oil in this particular car and when I recommend you changing your oil. So, last oil change, as well as a pretty major service, done the clutch, flywheel, glow plugs, done a lot of work on this car. I was at 187,000 miles. Let me just check the mileage on it now. So just checked and it's just ticked over 193,000 miles, which is pretty surprising because that means we've done, what, 6,000 miles in like 3 months. I know I took this thing to France and back, but yeah, man, it just goes to show how many miles I actually put on this thing. But yeah, you may be thinking 6,000 miles and only 3 months and you're already doing another oil change. Yes, that's because I recommend on pretty much any BMW for you to do an oil change every 5,000 to 6,000 miles. Now on this particular car, on this particular engine, the N47 engine, BMW extended the oil change intervals to 18,000 miles, which in my opinion is just absolutely ridiculous. It's backwards economy. Yes, you may save a little bit on oil changes, but you know, grand scheme of things, your engine is not going to last as long as it would if you was to replace the oil more often. I've just had a car in with an N47 engine that covered 150,000 miles and it pretty much spun all the bearings. Why is that? I'm fairly confident it's because it lacked oil changes. So yeah, of course the choice is yours. Follow BMW's advice, change your oil every 18,000 miles, which for some people that may end up being like every 3 years, which again is just ridiculous. Or change it, like I said, every 5,000 to 6,000 miles, and you should be golden. I mean, the cost of oil and an oil filter, especially for these cars, it's really not expensive. I mean, I get oil and an oil filter for £25. That's obviously if I do it myself. If you was to pay a garage to do it, I don't know, how much are you looking? £80, something like that, you know, twice a year. That's not a lot, is it really? It's just going to ensure that your engine is in tip-top condition. The majority, or pretty much all the catastrophic engine failures in, you know, all the BMW engines are, you know, largely in part down to lack of oil changes. So yeah, trust me on this, change your oil a lot more frequent than what BMW recommend. I don't know what they was thinking about recommending those long oil change intervals, but yeah, it's just not good for your car. Now that engine oil should have drained now. Yes, it's finished dripping. So let's continue with the oil change. For those wondering which oil and oil filters I use, MAN oil filters, you can't really beat them. And this Manol 7908 5W30 LL04 spec, exact spec for your car. And yeah, I pretty much use this in all of my BMWs, and yeah, never had an issue. So it's good stuff. Bit of brake cleaner and a bit of blue roll just to clean things up. But yeah, I guess we should get the drain plug ready for reinstallation. So we should have a new crush washer along with the oil filter. Give this a clean up, get it reinstalled, and then we can get the oil filter itself installed. There we go, that's the cleaned drain plug with new crush washer. Let's get it installed back onto the drain pan. And with the drain plug now reinstalled, we'll get it torqued down to 25 Newton meters. Here we go. So we'll now get the oil filter cap ready for installation of the new oil filter. So we'll get the O-ring removed. We'll give this a good clean up. Grab the new oil filter, install it into the cap. There we are. And we'll get the new O-ring that I've just lubed up with some fresh engine oil and install that onto the cap. Make sure it seats into the correct groove, as well as you'll have a major oil leak, and we can install it into position. Making sure this tab drops into the hole inside of the oil filter housing. And let's get that tightened down before again torquing it down to 25 Newton meters. There we are. Again, we'll just give it a quick clean down. So I'm going to use the entirety of one of these 5-litre containers. Then I'm going to check the oil level. I'll probably have to add a small amount because this engine takes between 5 and 5.5 litres. Now let's check the oil level using the dipstick. And that is right on the maximum there, but because the oil filter housing is dry, once I start the engine up, that will fill up, and then I have to add another couple of 100 millilitres. Oh, and for those wondering how you reset the service base data, so as we can see here, engine oil. It says this doesn't need to be reset until 2026 and in 14,000 miles, but yeah, screw that. We're going to be resetting it today. So all you need to do, just have the ignition on and hold down this reset button here until you get to this menu, and then you can scroll through it using this stalk here. So that's the brakes, that's the inspection, that's your oil, and then to reset it, just hold down this BC button here, reset, hold it down again, and it should be resetting. As we can see, 19,000 miles remaining now. Absolutely ridiculous. And it's also just being reset on the iDrive as well. Now then, after watching this video, there really is no excuse for not changing your oil in your BMW. You've just seen how simple it is. You only need basic hand tools. Yes, it's a lot easier if you have access to a set of ramps, but you know, a regular jack and jack stands, that's absolutely fine. Like I said, the oil filter, things like that, they're not expensive for these cars at this point. You know, this is a 14-year-old car. Like I said, parts are very inexpensive. Do it yourself or take it to a garage, pay a little bit more, but just know that you have the peace of mind that it's done. And don't follow BMW's advice and, you know, go 18,000 miles on an oil change. You may get away with it on a brand new car, but once your car has done, you know, 100,000 miles or so, trust me, it probably won't last long. So yeah, look after your car, do basic maintenance, and you should be golden. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. Remember to give this video a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you all in that next one.